immigrants, that immigrants didn't build this country. Immigrants human beings who were not always here too, because they chose to be. That it's like, oh, we'll bring people over when they can serve. When they can serve the interests of the state and what can be derived of their ratioing him. And that is how much people fucking hate JD Vance. He is so unlikable. He is so deeply despised. And also Connor's a great tweeter, but he's a great poster. Mom should have just stuffed you with crack out the womb, see what happens for science. Maybe you'd end up with a functioning brain. You know that JD Vance has also seen there's no way he hasn't seen these responses. I've seen him on this platform responding to people who are not getting the likes on their tweets that Connor Eats Pants is. What is his first ratio? It's pretty gnarly. Oh, I forgot it's in his replies. I like that it's not even a quote tweet. It's just a reply. Didn't even quote tweet it. Just straight up replied. Okay, so where is it? Oh my God, he really does keep replying to him. 328,000 likes. Oh my God. Connor Eats Pants could be our secret, not so secret weapon here in JD Vance being blocked from becoming the president of the United States. It's so funny too, because I remember when Connor was a little nervous to do a Fortnite Friday with fake Elon Musk. And I love that clearly that's gone out the window because he's fucking ratioing the vice president of the United States. He's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. JD, one of them ones I log on to say something to because he def reads that shit and I know he's in his feelings about it. Yes, he is definitely a person who will see your response, especially if it blows up like that. I thought this was... Wait, where did I put that? Where did I put that story? Yeah, okay, so this is more of what we were talking about yesterday, but if you're wondering as to why Jonathan Ross had his phone out, why he was recording in the middle of that activity, and then he took his gun out, and then we all know what happened next. It is because, as we talked about yesterday, there is a lot of emphasis being placed on ICE creating content out of what they're doing. DHS is trying to ensure that the content keeps coming, that they have this strong social media campaign. Vio, what are you doing live at this hour? What? Thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody. Hello, Vio Raiders. What the fuck is a VO? I'm still trying to figure that out. We are just about to read this piece in the Post that is about the social media strategy DHS and ICE have been employing when they conduct their raids, where they beat the shit out of vulnerable people, and they're so big and strong and heroic when they're ripping children out of the arms of their parents. They're making videos of it. And they are strategizing on those videos going viral, and they are co-opting pop culture. They're just stealing in order to try and normalize their brutality and their fascist actions. A Cosmos Sticks, thank you for the prime. Annabelle, thank you for the 2 months. So let's read this piece. Across thousands of internal ICE messages reviewed by the Washington Post, this kind of celebration has become commonplace. The messages show how the team has worked closely with the White House. And I'm talking about this too because Jonathan Ross, we saw the video footage from his phone that was released today. And if you're wondering, why was he recording? Why are these ICE agents, why do they have like phone in one hand and gun in the other? Well, it's because they're all fucking evil ass content creators now. Congressman, though, I said this earlier, but y'all don't need me. You got Trish Paytas and Spencer Pratt running for office. It's going to be a crowded field up in here. Okay, messages show how the team has worked closely with the White House, which has urged them to produce videos for social media of immigrant arrests and confrontations to portray its push for mass deportation as critical to protecting the American way of life. Before officials could post the Houston video, they had to figure out how to frame it. Officials did not know if all the arrestees had criminal records, they wrote in the chats, undermining a slogan the team had worked to promote on social media, that ICE targeted the worst of the worst. After some discussion, the team decided on a compromise. Instead of arguing that they'd snared hardened criminals, officials wrote a caption saying the arrest showed the dangers of illegal aliens behind the wheel. Then, to maximize the video's chances of going viral, they needed a soundtrack. They settled on a rap song by NBHD Nick, which his label would later tell the Post was used without permission, that starts, "Oh, you thought this was a game, huh?" The video was posted to ICE's social media channels, where it has been viewed more than 1 million times in total. For years, this ICE team had run like a routine government communications shop, dispensing public service announcements and news releases that few Americans would see. But during President Donald Trump's second term, ICE's public affairs arm has rapidly transformed into an influencer-style media machine, churning out flashy videos of tactical operations and immigration raids. The internal comms reviewed by the Post showed how the ICE team has coordinated with the White House, working to satisfy Trump aides' demand to flood the airwaves, as one official urged in the messages, with brash content showing immigrants being chased, grabbed, and detained. They also show federal officials mocking immigrants in crass terms and discussing video edits that might help legitimize the administration's aggressive stance. The team also knowingly used copyright-protected music without permission from the rights holders, among other techniques designed to boost their attention online. 6 current or former officials at the Department of Homeland Security, which runs ICE, told the Post that the video effort had broken from the more careful and methodical work of past administrations. They spoke on the condition of anonymity out of fear of retaliation. The Post, why is it that they're always just bring the fucking house down? Come on. The Post reviewed chats and other materials provided by people familiar. Give me a second. Familiar with internal discussions. They did so on the condition of anonymity due to the sensitive nature of the disclosures. David Lapon, the first DHS press secretary during Trump's first term and a longtime critic who has argued the second Trump administration politicized the agency, said the current strategy is unrecognizable compared to the more professional and buttoned-up operations under past presidents that work to describe law enforcement activities clinically and apolitically for fear of inflaming anger against agents in the field. They're like, look. It's not like we weren't doing this shit before, okay? It's just that we were more professional about it. We were less in your face with these TikTok videos. Okay, you're ruining the reputation. This is backfiring. It's not good press. We don't want so many people to be aware of these agencies and what they do. We were supposed to present the facts, not hype things up. But this veers into propaganda, into creating fear, said Lapon, a retired Marine Corps colonel. We didn't have this memification of various serious operations, these things that are life or death. It's not a joking matter, but that's the way that they're treating it now. White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson said, President Trump and his entire team are working at breakneck speed to keep our promises. Then why aren't those necks breaking? Deport criminal illegal aliens and get information out to the public. That's a good thing, and the American people deserve no less. DHS spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin said the White House had given the communication wings of DHS and ICE autonomy to create content that is effectively reaching the American public. When politics is all just memes and TikToks. The social media posts that use copyrighted material without permission had been pre-approved by administration lawyers. DHS public affairs officials, she added, were proud to break with the strategies of past administrations because their work has proved more successful at getting people's attention. They were irrelevant, she said, and we've made it matter. Launched after the September 11th attacks, ICE and DHS had always functioned as traditional law enforcement agencies focused on public safety and with minimal tools for self-promotion. If you're a black or brown person in this country, have you felt safe with ICE and DHS? If you're Muslim, do you agree with this? Do you agree that these agencies have always functioned as a way to focus on public safety? Have you felt safe? Their public affairs divisions employed small teams of video producers, mostly for unexceptional tasks, facilitating TV interviews, running the cameras at workforce retirement ceremonies, recording safety commercials for the Super Bowl. Some producers traveled to make videos when DHS agents took down sex abusers or crime rings. Video producers would film targeted operations, a current DHS official said, but immigration enforcement was only a fraction of the workload. After the start of Trump's second term, however, ICE's ranks swelled as federal agents were diverted to immigration enforcement, and the One Big Beautiful Bill tripled the agency's annual budget to deliver on the White House's promises to secure the southern border and speed up deportations. ICE's average arrest count jumped from around 300 a day last year to more than 800 a day since Trump took office, according to a post-analysis. According to a post-analysis of ICE data released by the Deportation Data Project at the University of California at Berkeley. DHS media operation was no exception. Public affairs teams were injected with a new crew of political appointees who had orders from the White House to treat immigration as their top priority and produce dramatized visuals of ICE operations and arrests to command user attention, the current and former officials told the Post. The video team's workload exploded, and immigration became the only topic that anyone could pursue, according to interviews. We're not doing child pornography cases. Oh, wow, I'm shocked, considering our government is comprised of fucking pedophiles. Wow. Wow, you mean the government that has more than one person who were protecting and, who were part of Jeffrey Epstein's operation? We're not doing human trafficking cases, one current DHS official told the Post. Everything is immigration. ICE's public affairs team included several dozen public affairs officers, producers, and strategists scattered between its Washington headquarters and local field offices across the country, current DHS officials said. Members of ICE's visual communications team embedded in the public affairs division and known as Viscom began recording in the field more frequently, accompanying officers on raids and removal operations, shooting video day and night, interviews and chats showed. Any video producer who witnessed a particularly cinematic scene, oh my God, this should it's so fucked. It's so evil. Any video producer who witnessed a particularly cinematic scene was expected to alert their supervisors. And do you think, too, that there's no motivation here to make these cinematic scenes, these particularly cinematic scenes, so that they can make for a great TikTok? Oh, you know what? This will sound so sick set to a Kiss song. This will be awesome. So that way the agency and the White House could promote it on their social media channels. Employees on ICE's digital engagement team then raced to edit and post the footage on social media in hopes of securing a viral win. Emily Covington, ICE's assistant director for public affairs, frequently requested good arrest videos and asked the team to devote its energy to capturing high-profile arrests, the internal messages show. Laszlo Bakse, a deputy assistant director, asked the public affairs team in the chat to flag stories where aliens with criminal history are being employed, to counter media reports that the agency was grabbing ordinary aliens just trying to earn a living. It's so sick, too, how they just use this term alien over and over again to dehumanize these immigrants and these migrants. They don't want you to think of them as people. They don't want you to think of them as human beings. Yes, it's very othering, very xenophobic. Covington and Bakse declined to comment further on the chat messages. The team began working like a professional influencer operation, creating a social media checklist of caught on-camera arrests, sharing metrics with senior officials, using paid social media tracking tools, and cataloging all of their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, and X posts ranked by impressions and engagement rate. Covington pushed the team in internal chats in late May to be more proactive in pushing out videos. A week after Covington's message in late May, the team got its first viral video. The clip showed ICE agents leaping out of an SUV and confronting men on the curb of a home improvement store in Baltimore. The men were shoved face down onto the street and handcuffed while an agent said, "Cale la boca" in Spanish, which means shut your mouth. In an X post, ICE called the video action-packed. But the real celebration came shortly after, when the White House reposted the video on its Instagram and X accounts, labeling it an epic takedown. Oh my God, everything is so fucking juvenile in its nature. It's like, it's so evil, but it's also evil by like the most juvenile freaks. Just so so epic. So epic. The favorite word of Elon Musk. The post from one of the team's political appointees led to a burst of hearts and shock face emojis. As the media operation ramped up, DHS posted several videos containing clear errors around their operations, using misleading footage that showed scenes recorded thousands of miles away from where the video described, the Post has previously reported. So here we are talking about how this how this agency is operating, seeing the people who comprise this agency. Where's my chatter at who's like, just so you know, not all ICE officers are shooting women in the face when they're being confronted. So you're actually the mean one here. You're actually the bully one here. You're the one who's spreading all this false information, who's doing the demonizing and dehumanizing. Actually, these are soulless fucks, so can't see how I can dehumanize ICE. Other edits were aimed at presenting events in ways that supported the administration's narratives. In May, Covington asked at the White House's request whether a video of a deportation flight from Texas could be re-edited so that the clips don't feature tons of females. Also using females in this noun way, as a noun, not just like as an adjective. These females. Hey, can we have less females? An ICE official responded that a video producer would re-edit the B-roll to exclude the females. Officials worked to find ways to describe many of the people arrested as the worst of the worst, a slogan DHS and ICE began using in January to argue that their agents hunted only the most dangerous criminals. When one official asked in the chat what producers should say in their videos when arrestees had no criminal history, another responded that they should work to find something else newsworthy to highlight, like an egregious immigration history. Public affairs officers were told to rewrite their news releases and online posts with stronger, more aggressive language if they wanted the agency's main communications channel to promote them, one said in an interview. If the truth of the operation does not match the narrative of the worst, it's going to be killed, the official said. So, in other words, make it work. In other words, do what you need to do in post to match our slogan here, worst of the worst. The team gave right-wing media figures premium access to immigration operations and received favorable coverage. In June, about 3 months before he was killed, right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk, is that why he's been so quiet on the murder of Renee Good? Right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk posted what he said was exclusive footage of ICE officials arresting a thug. Covington highlighted the moment in the team's chat, thanking one official for getting great footage on today's arrest. So, again, I'm covering this stuff because we just saw today the video footage from Jonathan Ross himself, who was recording right up to the moment that he murdered Renee Good. And so if you are wondering, like, why ICE agents have a phone in hand and also a gun in hand, and like, why are they recording? Because also there has been a push for body cams, for ICE agents to have a universal policy of body cams, but that's not something that's happening. And they don't want body cams, but they do want to have their phones so they can record their little content. But why even post that? Because they posted it to serve the narrative that they are trying to push, which is that Renee Good deserved to be killed. Wasn't there just a story I saw about we asked for ICE body cam footage. DHS claims they don't have it. I think this was a story in The Intercept. Yeah, Secret Service also said it had no records of its request to raise the water. Blah, 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 blah. DHS claimed 4 times within 48 hours that it had no documents in response to records requests from the Freedom of the Press Foundation late last year. These brush-offs raised serious questions about whether the agency is saving its documents anymore. Yeah. So even though there are ICE agents who do have body cams, when The Intercept went to DHS to request ICE body cam footage, they're like, oh, we don't have it. Right-wing influencers with large followings, including Dr. Phil McGraw and libs of TikTok's Chaya Raichik, were regularly invited to ride along with law enforcement agents and interview senior officials, according to the Post's review of their coverage. The pro-Trump influencer Benny Johnson donned a Border Patrol tactical vest to watch a raid at a Walmart in the Chicago area alongside Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. His Twitter clip celebrating the amazing operation's wild scenes has been viewed 1.6 million times. And again, you wonder at the outsized power difference between left-wing creators and right-wing creators. And then you read stories that remind you again how the fucking government is supporting this vast network of right-wing influencers. A Libs of TikTok representative declined to comment on the relationship. Representatives for Turning Point USA, the organization founded by Kirk and Johnson, did not respond to requests for comment. A representative, McGraw, said he had been invited by White House border czar Tom Homan to document ICE enforcement in Chicago and Los Angeles earlier this year. Like, why the fuck is Dr. Phil there? Why aren't you just we've moved on from just exploiting vulnerable people, teenage girls on your show, from being a fucking creep and an exploiting piece of shit, and now you're just full on a right-wing influencer who's riding along with ICE raids? For real though, why is he there? He was doing weird shit with Israel. Yeah, he's just fully now one of these right-wing influencers. He's always been vile, to be clear. In pursuit of more viral video, DHS brought in new public affairs staff members with atypical backgrounds and authorized them to go out and capture content, as a chat message said. Is the atypical background like, I don't know, somebody who spends 18 out of 24 hours a day on 4chan? They're like, hey, I'm an expert. I'm a Redditor expert. I'm a Redditor professional. A MAGA woman's lifestyle influencer, an LA-based wedding videographer, and a Canadian-born actor who played a mountain man in a cable TV show joined the team. DHS encouraged the hires to become intimately involved with agency affairs. In June, when ICE agents were raiding farms in rural Missouri, the former actor noted it would be a prime chance to make a video. Would be great to get something like that on film, he wrote in the chat, suggesting a tagline, "We are everywhere, we will find you." Listen, you human version of gonorrhea. Get fucked. What a fucking creep. Later, when ICE officials complained about negative media coverage, he worked to bolster their spirits. By June, the public affairs team had for weeks been showing signs of overwork, with some employees consistently working overtime to help satisfy the White House's constant demands for more content, the chat messages showed. The team had discussed bringing on contract videographers to help address outstanding tasks, like a new request to shadow every operation of ICE's Special Response Team, the elite SWAT-like unit that handles its most dangerous arrests. But when protests over mass deportation swept LA and Trump ordered the deployment of the National Guard in June, the White House ramped up the pressure yet again. Top officials wanted ICE's public affairs unit to produce more visuals. Just this content slot machine, never ending. The National Guard deployment presented a challenge for a unit trained to cover pre-planned and targeted operations, a vast citywide video shoot where clashes with protesters could flare up at any time. In the chats, the team strategized how to stretch out its content. Around 1 p.m., Covington, the ICE Public Affairs Assistant Director, instructed her team to highlight arrests in Los Angeles at the White House's request. ICE began to post a flurry of tweets on X in quick succession, almost every half hour. They included visuals of recent immigration raids and mugshots of people the agency said were undocumented immigrants with a criminal history. ICE tweeted 38 times over 11 hours. Earlier in the day, the account had posted only 3 times. Officials also floated more ideas to maximize coverage, including pulling in military videographers known as combat cameras to offer direct support of designated hotspots. One official warned the idea came with too many risks, in part because they had been trained for battle, not protests. It's different than war photography in a few distinct ways, the official said. Yeah, no shit? Oh. I've seen videos of ICE Nazis walking around with a camera guy filming arrests. The White House directive around the LA protests forced the agency to play more of an attack dog role online to keep up with the administration's demands, one former worker on the DHS media team told the Post. That was the turning point to get even more aggressive with their messaging and to paint pictures of these places as war-torn. There was a much more blustery edge. and a need to put stuff out as quickly as you can. You're just steamrolling everything. The White House has benefited from this symbiotic relationship. The most watched video on its TikTok account, with more than 45 million views, included DHS operational footage, a photo of a crying arrestee, and the caption, "Ah, that deportation feeling." It has since been removed, but the White House declined to say why. In the weeks after the June 10th directive, many National Guard troops left LA, but the ICE public affairs team kept working at a rapid pace, the chat showed. As plainclothes ICE agents began ramping up arrests of immigrants at courthouses, an ICE official urged the team to flood all your local social with the imagery from the arrests. Wow, you're so big and tough and strong and keeping us safe. Arresting people who are at the courthouse, who are trying everything they can to pursue a legal pathway. And you know exactly where they are, so you know where to grab them. Don't forget the hashtags. The pace became so demanding that one official complained of overwork. Oh my God. Put weights around your ankles and walk into the sea. Imagine this person being like, oh my God, this pace, there's so demanding. I'm just working so hard. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of cutting together my little videos showing ICE agents beating the shit and arresting people who are at the courthouse. I'm only getting like 80K. When video producers weren't available, public affairs officers were sent into the field to record ICE activities on their phones. A footage force multiplier, one DHS official said in an interview. Officers were traveling more to fill the White House's almost insatiable demand for visuals. Yeah, because that's how they do politics. That's how Donald Trump does politics. That's how he communicates. The push, however, left some of the officials fearful for their safety in the field. In July, DHS said an ICE public affairs specialist was sent to the emergency room with a bloodied hand after being hit by a thrown rock outside a California marijuana farm. I hope that rock is okay. I hope that rock is okay. Has anyone checked in on that rock? During an all-time meeting, all-team meeting attended by public affairs officers, an official said he'd been sent in a T-shirt to scenes where agents were wearing body armor, an ICE official recalled. An ICE spokesman said the agency now ensures that public affairs officials have protective equipment, including body armor and first aid kits. Still, public affairs officials have participated in the immigration operations. In September, Covington said in an internal chat message that she had been on a ride-along with federal agents when an immigrant from Venezuela was apprehended. Wait, what? But I thought that we were bombing and killing people in Venezuela because we care so much about Venezuelans. Because we're so concerned for their freedom and for their need to have a better life. The target was a runner. I spotted him and we made the arrest. She uploaded photos of the man in handcuffs and asked in the chat whether he had been a known gang member, saying that he had some interesting tats. An ICE legal associate told her their files showed no evidence of gang membership. Some of her colleagues congratulated her nonetheless. Go, public affairs office, go, one replied. The White House's frenzy for more content and DHS officials scrambled to produce led the team to push the boundaries in ways that disturbed some of its employees. Then fucking quit. Quit. You're so disturbed. It sounds like you're not disturbed at what they're doing to human beings, but how frenzied they are for content. ICE's X account posted a video of a bound protester in Portland, Oregon being wheeled into custody face down on a flatbed cart with the background lyrics, "They see me rollin'." DHS's account posted a clip of Illinois protesters and said, "Get a job, you imbecilic morons." It also shared a Halloween-styled montage of arrestees' mugshots and warned them that there would be no sanctuary for creatures and criminals of the night. They just went nuts, a recently departed DHS producer told the Post. It was no limit. It was like if someone from Reddit took over. Gee, you think? Some prosecutors in U.S. Attorney's Office complained to public affairs officials that the brash social media posts could jeopardize their cases by raising questions about bias or tainting the jury pool. McLaughlin, the DHS spokeswoman, said she'd not heard this and said that officials are so concerned about it, they should convey it to her, not journalists. But that style of crass humor was also common in the ICE team's internal chats. 4 days after Trump's inauguration, an official shared a meme that read like a warning to migrants inside the country. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Oh, you mean that this is just the all-around vibe with ICE? You mean to tell me that this is an agency comprised of some of the biggest fucking losers on this planet? Some real pieces of shit? Another official poked fun at a migrant's mugshot, labeling him an MS-13 heartthrob in reference to the gang. In June, after Los Angeles Dodgers officials said they had blocked ICE agents from accessing their parking lots, one ICE official made a joke about the team's Japanese superstar pitcher, who's played for American teams since 2018. McLaughlin said that every organization has conversations that you don't think are going to get out to the public, but that she is not going to lose sleep over anything in the messages. ICE's shifting attitude toward public... God, she sucks so bad. Shifting attitude toward public messaging was especially noticeable in its use of music without the artist or label's permission, current and former DHS officials said, which past administrations had been far more cautious about. Some officials said in the chat that they were indifferent to the potential perils. When one employee raised concerns about copyright violations, another wrote back dismissing them. At least 5 DHS and ICE videos have been taken down from X in recent months following complaints from representatives of the comedian Theo Von, the band MGMT, and rappers Jay-Z, Joey Valence, and Chamillionaire. Other companies and creators have complained that their intellectual property was used without permission, including the Pokemon Co., whose cartoon style was mimicked for a DHS video captioned, "Gotta catch 'em all." Trump administration officials have defended the intensity of their media ops to reporters by saying it's what Americans want. Do you think that's what Americans want? Or do you think they want fucking healthcare? Do you think that they want like 1,000 TikToks of migrants being abused? Of just normal human beings being terrorized? Or do you think that they want to be able to afford to live? It's what Americans want. Visual proof that Trump is fulfilling his promise to deport millions of immigrants nationwide. But ICE's social media onslaught appears to have done little to change Americans' attitudes en masse. The share of Americans saying immigration is a good thing for the country leaped to 79% in July, a record high a Gallup poll found in July. About 62% of Americans said they disliked how Trump was handling the issue. Despite this, the media operations at DHS show no signs of slowing down. Inside the ICE team, the chat showed, many were proud of their work and committed for the long haul. In August, after an ICE official shared census numbers showing the country's immigrant population had dropped by 2 million, an ICE legal associate responded simply, only 40 million to go. They See Me Rolling is literally a song about how the cops are out looking to abuse people that they deem guilty by looking at them. Yeah. I interpret this article as there are elements within DHS that want to pin this all on Trump and go back to the more quiet deportations, still families being separated, but just don't post about it. We can't accept this. Right. I mean, this is like, hey, Obama was called the deporter in chief for a reason. Deported more people than Trump had in his first term. So it's not like things were so it's not like things were so great before that like our border policies were humane and didn't involve ripping families apart and making it like so hard to pursue a legal pathway to citizenship. But yeah, what this is like Republicans when they support Trump's policies, but they're like, hey, can we have a little bit more decorum? Can we just do things the way we used to do things? Because this is a little tacky. okay, we're like, I don't like the way that we don't want this bad attention. Okay, this is not good for the overall agenda. Yet the optics here, the optics. Think about the optics.
Even the judges are over ICE right now. Like, they were not having any of ICE's bullshit in court this morning. Every one of my objections sustained. Every time ICE objected, overruled.
Your Honor, I object.
All of my stipulations were accepted into the record. Like, no questions asked. The judge just, like, took my word for it that my expert witness was qualified to testify. Like, we did no voir dire. DHS took, like, 10 minutes to find my client in detention. The judge lost his shit. This doesn't make up for everything that's going on in the news right now, but let this be, like, a little bright spot in your day that the judiciary is over DHS's bullshit.
You know what, Michael? Thank you. Thank you, because we do need a little bit of a bright spot here. Dawn Snow, thank you for the 34 months. VO, thank you for 31. Your Honor, I am serving. We do need a little bit of a bright spot here. Please stop letting this man cook.
All right, Garrett.
Oh, it's so obviously this situation is not comical, but this is so comical. What a fucking joke. They really want to interview someone that can have takes that are not spoken in a media trained manner, like in the 2010s. They're fishing. Yeah, they did not catch anything. Garrett's like, I'm gonna kill myself. He just kept like, okay, asking the question. The guy would answer. He'd be like, all right. And then go to leave and he's like, whoa, hold on a second. Okay. All right. Garrett, quit. Garrett, just quit. Just quit. I love that sign. You don't get to talk about illegal when you voted for a felon. It's also just this idea like America has not been a country of